So Tom, sometimes you recommend writing all the headlines for a piece, such as in a newsletter, before writing any of the copy. Why is that?
Well, because the reality is people skim before they read, Julie. So I need to do most of my attempts to communicate, to do the heavy lifting in the big type. So the headlines, subheads, also called decks, captions, pull quotes. I know the photos are going to draw their eye automatically because we have, eye motion studies that prove that that is the case. I mean, your brain is fairly predictable in terms of what it will look at first. And it's a version, in a sense, of what I've called the 3-second test, which is they're going to look what's going to happen in that first glance. They're going to flip what's going to happen, on page 4. And if I can win those headlines, if all the headlines are doing their work, which in a donor newsletter is a trifle different than, let's say, a newspaper, or a news, something online. There, it's pure news, let's say. But in a donor newsletter, you're also inserting, well, let's call it flattery, because that's, the most common term for it. And you're trying to make the donor feel good about their involvement with your cause, right? And this community of people trying to help each other.
So should we spend, we spend a lot of time on the copy, on the body copy, right, in our newsletter. And because it does require a lot of time, but I'm wondering, we need to put probably as much effort, as much thinking effort into our headlines, subheads, decks.
Well, I mean, the best paid people in journalism are people that are headline writers exclusively. So in a daily newspaper, if we have any of those left, there's an entire department that writes nothing but headlines. So they take the copy from the journalists and they then develop a headline. And those are two different specialties. Now, what we assume, and again, this is from research, a lot of came out of what is called the Poynter Institute. That's Poynter, and they're kind of the research arm for the news industry. What they discovered is that most people, most of the time, don't read past the first sentence. So, to make a point, I've joked in webinars that if everything from the second paragraph down was written in a different language, nobody would actually notice.
I love it. Thank you, Tom.